Hi, I'm doing this video because yesterday I did a post on a couple on my social accounts that I couldn't store the energy to function at just about any level yesterday. And if you know me, you know that's not just unusual, that is radically different. I have the ability typically to store vast amounts of energy, use it, and although the last few years in particular I've had dramatically less ability to keep the energy, so it goes quickly. Um, Yesterday was the first time in a long time where energy just couldn't store. Now, what does that really mean? So, I have several chronic pain conditions, several additional issues right now that are on top of that. And pain for me doesn't just hurt, it literally sucks the energy to be able to do anything right out of you. And it'll literally make me pass out several times a day on my bad days. So, the challenge for me is to be productive in spite of that. And yesterday, for the first time in a long time, I couldn't be productive at all. That there was just nothing I could do. None of my normal tricks worked. Nothing out of my extensive arsenal of energy manifestation, if you want to call it that. Nothing worked. Caffeine didn't work. Nothing. Nothing worked. My body just said enough. Absolutely enough. It's got lots of good reasons for it. I'm not denying that. But typically I can squeeze, 5, 10% out, maybe 15 on a good day. And yesterday I was lucky to get one or two. Like get up, go to the restroom, lay back down. That's kind of the guts of what my day was yesterday. So today I'm a little better off, not a whole lot better off, but I wanted to explain not just what my current situation is like, but also maybe how that might connect to a broader picture of how the country in the United States and Canada and certainly a variety of countries in Europe, and I'm quite open to the idea that it would affect the rest of the world correspondingly, and it certainly does with the example I'm about to give. But a person who can't store and use energy is very much like a country who can't store and use energy. If the country can't produce enough energy to do all the things it needs to do, it's not going to be able to do it, right? The same way as a human being, if I can't store and generate enough energy, it's not going anywhere. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do to overcome that. And I've been really, really, really at, to be honest, abusively generating and using and storing energy my whole life. Abusively good at it. So when I say I can't do it, it's not because I don't have the willpower. It's not because I don't have the skill set, the energy background, the understanding of the mechanics, the biomechanics, the biochemistry, neurochemistry, all of that stuff. I've got a very deep, deep well of knowledge, expertise, and experience in my whole life. And if I can't get that extra 1 or 2% yesterday to be able to get something done, that's a problem. And we just acknowledging that the body does need some time to recover. And I haven't given it a whole lot today. I'm a little better off than yesterday, but not a whole lot. So I don't know how much longer I've got in the tank to kind of get stuff done, but I'm doing what I can. So here's the upshot of it. Here's the part that goes with that. Whether you're talking about the US, and I'll use the US as a specific case example in this scenario. We have gas now here in Arizona. It's pushing $4 a gallon. Um, it's been high really since COVID, maybe a little before that, um, which of course has an inflationary push on all the prices, um, on top of tariffs and other stuff that, I mean, you can argue about those plus or minus on top of that. You can argue about wage inflation. You can argue about mass immigration affecting wage deflation. You can talk about the H-1B visa inflation. There are lots of things that are causing prices to be high, but ultimately the only way we can overcome that and get prices to reduce and yet still have a positive impact on the economy is to rapidly grow our productivity. We have to become so much better at getting stuff done that we can outcompete everybody else. Well, the number one thing you need to be able to do that isn't money, it's energy. And as the US just yesterday closed a $2.2 billion solar uh, production plant because it was not able to produce enough energy or enough revenue to self-support itself. China, on the other hand, they're opening a brand new power plant, whether it's coal or other, every week for the next 30 odd years. That's already a done deal. That they've already got the infrastructure being built, they've got the plants being built, everything is already underway. So we seem to be countries going in different directions rather rapidly in terms of energy. And as we need to be more competitive in energy, not just energy pricing, but the sheer scale of energy, we seem to be backpedaling really quickly. Now, there are some explanations for that. Number one, for a variety of reasons, the Western world seems to be much more focused on environmental issues than, for example, China might be. I do, and I don't mean to single China out on this, but they're a good case study example to compare the differentiation, right? If we're going to compete in things like AI, quantum computing, any of these devastatingly powerful new technologies, new arenas, new spheres of understanding the universe, we've got to be competitive in the things that matter to that. And energy is one of them. Natural resources, obviously, is another issue. Our ability to manufacture is another issue. All the steps that kind of differentiate an economy that has a shot at being able to leapfrog ahead and an economy that is getting in its own way. I see that in Canada, especially. I see that in the UK. I see that in a whole slew of countries in the West who are all very focused on impeding anything that could empower an economy out of fear that it's going to negatively impact the environment. And whether you value that side of the argument or whether you feel it's hocus, or whether you think it's the most critical issue on the planet today, there are so many intertwined things that go with it that together we have to figure out how to manage our energy better, right? So it's not just a case of generating the energy. Now we have to manage that energy. So our distribution system was built 80 years ago. It's not designed to handle the kind of volume of energy we're looking to distribute anyway. Even if we had it, we couldn't distribute it. When we're talking about things like the electric car mandate, we don't have the capacity, the storage, the transmission lines. We have nothing to support that doctrine of all, we'll call them eco-friendly or electric vehicle mandates that Canada and the US have been pushing for the last few years. We don't have the capacity for it, period. Unless that changes, we're not able to handle that. So I'm not sure what the expectation is for the average person, but I will flip it the other way around. Regardless of whatever governments tell you to do or not to do, it's up to us individually to figure out how to manage our energy acquisition, our energy storage, our energy manufacturing, our energy capacity, consumption, everything, both personally and as a business owner, as a family, as a unit, as a nation. We've got to get this figured out. And it's every bit the same, whether it's as a human being or as a government or as a company. The better you are at figuring this out, the more you're able to do in accomplishing any and all of your goals. And the less you're able to do this, the more constrained, restrained, and more likely to fail at accomplishing any of those goals you're going to be. That's really what I want to talk about. Please join the conversation. Talk about your experience or what information you have about energy, personal, organizational, national, what have you, in wherever country you're from. Please include those in the comments, and let's open this up to have a real discussion, a real debate. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I can store up a little more energy today and be a little more productive. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers.